Should we turn the TV off?
No.
You wanna
It doesn't
fucking
matter.
I'm gonna watch
let's
it.
just go.
stop, dude? Don't fucking. If your eyes wander
Dude,
up
I'm
there,
almost.
He said, let's watch it.
No, don't turn that shit off.
I think we're going to formally kick it off, man. This is a sold out episode 17. We got our friend James, aka Supreme Sales, on the pod with me and Vince. We're going to have some fun today. We got some cool topics to hit, so I want to dive right into it, bro. I'd like to just give you the floor, kind of let you introduce yourself and tell us just a little bit about who you are, where you came from.
So my name is James Cook. I have been on sneaker Twitter now for about 5 years.
Yep.
I currently work at 1:37 p.m. helping build that media company, and I'm super excited to be here. Thank you guys for having me on.
Of course, man, definitely.
Right
I've known James for a couple of years. We've actually gotten to know each other on more of a personal level over the last year and a half with the emergence of the card market, sports card market. James has a track record of being early to emerging markets or resurging markets, you could say, in the case of cards. Like, for example, you were big into Supreme in,
2016. That's like what kicked off my resale career was Supreme.
Yep.
You know, back in freshman year of high school, back in 2015.
Yeah.
I was just like, my buddy put me on to Supreme, and I just really dove in, and every week was just cooking Supreme Thursdays at 11 a.m.
Were you running bots?
I was like, at first I was, it's actually a pretty interesting story. At first I got heated sneaks. That was my first ever bot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trash.
Yeah.
Just saying, like, it was really bad. And I actually got into the add to cart services.
Mm-hmm.
It was on, not MySpace, but Skype.
Oh my gosh.
It was a
No
add
way.
to cart service
Yeah.
on Skype.
No way.
Back in
Okay.
2015. And so like
Shoot.
every week I would just send him over a spreadsheet with my info and whatnot, and he'd run tasks for me. So
Do you know what they were running?
no, I have no idea. It's some
Yeah.
custom bot, I would assume.
That's
back
It's
funny.
then.
probably so
Yeah.
easy for these developers back then.
Oh, I
Yeah,
bet.
and
No
he would hit
protection,
all the
no
time, so-
competition.
Oh my gosh.
And for those that don't know, 2015, 16, like for anyone that wasn't around, those were the days where you could buy cargo shorts, socks, a random hat, anything from Supreme, and by the time you got it in hand, you would double your money, triple your money.
Yeah.
It was
a wild time.
It really was. It really was. Tell us, okay, so your name on Twitter obviously is Supreme Sales. That's been your name and your brand publicly since the beginning. Obviously, I think it's smart that you've kept that through and through. Even with, obviously, you don't really do Supreme anymore. You're
Right.
So tell us when you got into the card market, when you dove into that, because from a lot of people's perspective, you were pretty early. You were one of the earlier dudes from our world and community that was really, knee deep in the card space. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that transition, kind of.
Yeah, so I got into cards in January of 2020, thanks to Gary V.
Yeah.
I listened to his content for a long time,
Yeah.
and he was like, buy sports cards are going to pop. And I was like, all right. So I dug in, did a bunch of research for 3 months. From January to March, all I did was just research the sports card market, like what's PSA, what's Beckett.
Yeah.
On eBay every night, just looking at comps, just
Yeah.
like seeing trends and whatnot, and sold all my sneakers that I had, like all of them.
Yeah.
Put all that money into sports cards in like March of 2020.
Okay.
And then it's been
Dang.
just been grinding that
Yeah.
for almost 2 years now.
That's an amazing that is like the best time to enter the card
Yeah,
market.
that was
Obviously, if
really
you got
good.
in a year prior when stuff was like $5, that's one thing. But you got in right before it popped. Like that, March, April, May, and moving forward, that was the time when you could buy anything on eBay, and by the time it got to your house, it had appreciated and it had gone up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like Supreme. I mean, it was the same kind of like mindset in
yeah.
terms of like there's so much money flowing in. There's so many new people who, found the hobby and are like, this is really dope. Like people love cards. They've been around for 100 years. So
Exactly.
it was kind of all the same, like supply, demand, and
Yeah.
hype.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, and shout out to sports cards. I mean, like seriously, it's been crazy. It was
I
like
know.
life changing.
Definitely. For me too. I mean, I think for all of us in our own respective ways, sports cards have played an integral part of where we are and what we do day to day now, and the successes and connections that we found in the industry. It's crazy, man. The boom of the sports car market did change a lot of lives, a lot of lives. I can't imagine being one of the old school collectors with like a
Right.
real crazy personal collection of like old LeBron autos and all that stuff, and then the market pop. Those guys, that is
Yeah, I mean,
were you going for retail product at all?
no. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
you were
So-
buying like eBay and
I was-
investment type things and then flipping them.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
You learn the market very quickly like that compared to just retail wax is
Yeah,
pretty
it's-
basic. So
Yeah, it was the stores in my area, they never really got product.
okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, occasionally, it's funny. I used to work in the summertime. I used to be a merchandiser for grocery stores.
Yeah.
So I would go all around and just stock liquor for grocery stores like Walmart,
Mm-hmm.
Kroger's, whatnot. And so occasionally, I would find some mosaic,
Yeah, sitting there.
blasters or whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I basically like never hit retail like that. Like some people only hit retail. I would
Yeah.
buy PSA graded cards on eBay
Yeah.
and flip PSA graded cards
Right,
on eBay.
right.
That's cool.
That's like
It's
kind of
different
my
than
MO.
our. Well, I think most of our members' approach. I would say most of them were trying to bought retail.
And that's
buy
how they got
retail and then-
introduced.
yeah, and then flip it because it was scarce product and stuff. So
Yeah, and
that's
everyone
cool.
breaks. So
Yeah.
that drove demand.
Yeah, the
crazy.
breaking was huge. Yeah.
Breaking, dude, all the breakers drove the prices up a lot as far as retail wax on the aftermarket and whatnot. Same with the companies that like part out the cards. You can buy like 1% of a Mickey Mantle or 1% of a Charizard. Those companies really drove up the prices of the grails in the hobby. It's
Yeah,
it's
Rally
wild.
Road. That's like, I would say that's like at the forefront
you were
of the
talking to me about
fractionalization.
that.
Fractionalization
Yeah.
is the term. Okay.
So they'll buy like the highest grade of the best cards.
Yeah.
You know, PSA 10 Ronaldo rookie cards, and split them up into fractions, and then it allows the everyday person who can't afford a $200,000 card to still get in on it and still be a part of the.
Excitement
It's like a
and-
blue chip stock.
Yeah. Right.
And there's 100 and so Ronaldo rookies, PSA 10. And so it's one of the most demanded cards, and being able to have access.
When they would do that, the fractionalization, would the demand be like super high to where those like slots would sell out super quick?
Yeah, they released a Ronaldo last week. It sold out in 2 minutes.
No
yeah.
way.
Okay, that's cool.
Wow. What's the name of the company that does
Rally Road.
Rally Road? Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple other of them. Collectibles as well.
Okay.
Is like they're doing their thing.
Yeah. What one thing that I noticed, James, like just following your plays and growth over the last couple of years, I noticed that you were one of the first guys that I would see going to like new or more niche card or collectible markets. Like I saw you dabbling in Flintstones cards and Star Wars cards and really just like unique old school vintage. And all of those markets ended up popping relatively shortly after you kind of dove into it. So just like put us in that mindset about getting in on these emerging markets or collectible markets. How do you find yourself coming to these plays, like getting into these markets early like you do?
Right, and that goes back to just being on eBay every day.
Yeah.
And just searching up,
Yeah.
just doing research on eBay, and you'll come across a sale. You'll be like, "There's a Spider-Man rookie card," and then you find the set, do a bunch of research, in Marvel. Like the IP, Star Wars again, like they have
Right.
gigantic IPs.
Yeah.
Like they're huge companies, like bigger than, some players.
Literally larger than life.
Like Luke Skywalker is probably more popular than, so Josh Allen. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Oh, 100%.
And so
Yep.
being able to just like, find and like source the sets and source like all these unique niche markets, and then realize that there's cards and it's like the same thing as sports, just with movies and with other and whatnot. And so it definitely like, I don't know how to word this, but there's definitely like demand for those products.
Yeah.
And so if you can get them PSA graded, there's gonna be buyers for them. People just
Right.
need to find the market before
the
everyone else
explodes,
does.
basically. Yeah.
Like that's, you know what I'm saying?
What do you enjoy more? Like, do you enjoy sports cards more or TCG and random collectibles?
That's a great question.
Yeah. Because you mentioned yesterday that you're not super avid into watching sports, so that's kind of where my curiosity came from.
Yeah, I definitely find interest in like Mickey Mouse cards and in Luke Skywalker cards more. I think than
I like
just
that.
like,
That's cool.
I find it more fascinating than just a Zion card.
They're super cultural, like
Yeah,
an
it
old
is.
like
It is
Mickey Mouse
cultural.
card or Star Wars set or the early like Topps Pokemon cards. Like these are cultural. These only exist because of where the culture was at that time, and they're really relevant to whole generations of people and potential buyers. That's cool, man. I think it's cool. Vince, don't you do or don't you you play
It's just Star Wars cards because I used to play that game
Yeah.
a long time ago. So I bought PSA cards. I don't know, December, January, some really nice PSA, but it's from the like deciphered '90s stuff. None of like the '70s originals. I did look at those at the time.
Yeah.
I just didn't think like it was for me because I wanted stuff that was relevant to like my childhood. So I
Right.
went with those, and I thought like, my friends and people that played that game, in 3 to 5 years may look to buy those cards again when they have more disposable income. So
Yeah.
and that was what I was
Definitely.
telling you about like the video game stuff because we were talking about that Rally Road doing fractionalization of like the Super Mario game,
Yep.
the original Super Mario game. So again, I think video games 3 to 5 years could be a great opportunity. So that's why I am buying those video games myself.
Yeah,
So.
no, I totally agree, and it really hits home with nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Like people who
Yeah.
played those games, back when they were
Exactly.
10,
Yeah.
15.
It's a big part of their life.
Yeah, people grew up, with Marvel, and people grew up
Yeah.
with playing Grand Theft Auto, and so like
Exactly.
and so once they get older, like you said, they want to kind of relive those memories.
Yeah.
And that's a great way.
Yeah.
Is through buying that type of product.
Very true. You know what I need is I need a graded Modern Warfare 2, like the original
Yeah.
MW2 for Xbox 360.
I need
That'd be
that-
sick.
yeah.
I wonder how much that costs. It's probably pretty expensive, I would think.
I don't know.
MW2
I would
is like the game of all games.
You may be surprised. Some of those games you can get like sealed and stuff for, not like crazy amounts.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should look into it. That's cool. I want to talk a little bit about, I think it's super cool that you followed Gary Vee closely and looked up to him. Obviously, he's super influential with a lot of people in our space and in the entrepreneurial world as a whole. It's really cool to me that you were, avidly following him, listening to him, and you attribute some of your growth in the industry with sports cards and stuff like that to Gary. And now you work for 137. The company is called 137 PM, correct?
Correct, yes.
And that is, it's a company owned by Gary Vee. Do you want to tell people a little bit about what 137 is, what you guys do?
Yes. Yeah, thank you for bringing this topic up because
course.
it's like it's really on my mind like all
Heck
the time.
yeah, as it should be.
Yeah, and so 137 is a men's lifestyle media company, and we're focused on, providing news and content and media around topics such as NFTs, crypto, sports, gaming,
Yeah.
and just through a entrepreneurship lens, and really focused on, I would say, like the young men who kind of have an entrepreneurship like spirit
Yeah.
and desire. And so, yeah, I joined the team, and we're building it out, and it's super exciting. Sorry, and and Gary owns it.
That's amazing.
So
owns
does
the
it
company,
target?
so-
I was curious. You say from like an entrepreneurial lens. So
Yeah.
does it like help to curate content that young men where their hobby could become something where they also make money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, that's really cool.
You know,
Because like that's what led me to what we do now. Is like I was really big into video games, so I started making money off video games, and then just like literally from somebody who was doing that, they were doing Supreme stuff, and I was like, well, I'm gonna try and do that with clothes and shoes
Exactly.
and stuff. So
It's
Yeah.
all it's really focused, if you flip sneakers, if you flip records, if you flip video games, you kind of all have the same DNA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Yeah.
And that's like our audience, and that's kind of like where we're pushing.
That's cool.
And we want to be at the forefront of all news.
Yeah.
We want to be the first to bring you, you know, the latest and greatest in
News
terms
from
of technology. And,
all of these markets, and that's cool. And now, what is your, like, specifically your formal role as journalist? You curate or you write articles for 137, right?
Yes, I do. So I am a collectibles editor.
Okay.
So my role is just write articles and create content around the collectible space.
That's really
so that's
cool.
anywhere from comic books to sports cards. I dabble in NFTs as well.
What about
because
toys?
that's a market that I'm not too familiar with.
Okay.
But there's definitely some action
I'm
there.
starting to look at that. Like, I think that could be another good. I mean, I was just kind of curious if you guys have been talking about it.
No,
at
but
all.
we should.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean,
For
but I
sure.
mean, like, I'm saying, like, internally, like, you guys are, like, talking about, like, have you guys seen that these toys are selling for a bunch of money, like, old Hot Wheels or, like,
There's
stuff like
definitely
that, yeah.
we haven't covered that, but I'll look into it because I think like that's an emerging market, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could be. You never
Exactly.
You
know.
never know, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool to me, dude. Like, I don't know of many people at all that have, because you're a full-time employee, right?
Correct.
Full-time benefits, all whole nine.
401k.
I don't know many people.
Stock options. Car.
Right? Company vehicle.
Yeah.
I really genuinely don't know many people that have a career type job that's in line with something that they're truly passionate about and get excited about. Your job seems amazing. I mean, that's just who you are. You put together, you curate posts and information about new markets and collectibles. Like, this is in your DNA, like you said. So the fact that
is.
you get to work a job like that with associates and coworkers that are like-minded with you. How many people are at the company now?
We have about 25 currently,
that's
but
pretty small,
we're
dude.
getting
That's
seven.
cool.
We're getting 7 new hires in tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you know, if you're in that space, apply because we're hiring. So
For sure.
seriously,
Right on.
reach out. Yeah.
I write a mean article. I'm a mean writer,
You
dude.
definitely should.
I literally could just like, I was telling James this last time, like, dude, I could write
You
articles.
write them, I'll edit.
Yeah, exactly.
Put in what should be in there.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's super cool, man. And it's cool that it's that tight. It's a relatively small company, so you're running close
Yeah.
with that circle of it's like Tyler, Gary's assistant, and that whole crew of guys. Like, it's very cool to me that you're one of their few employees thus far early.
I'm
in the
very
company.
grateful. I'm
course.
thankful. It's every day I wake up and I'm pumped up.
Heck yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like
people would.
it's
A lot
awesome.
of people would kill to be in that position.
Oh,
I'm
definitely.
very thankful. You
For
know, and
sure,
it's just
yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah.
I just got hired in a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's just a start, but the future is
Heck
bright
yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
super excited.
Tell us, so weren't you doing like some part-time articles
yeah.
for them like since January? So maybe the last 10 or 11 months, and then you just got recently brought on full-time, you said?
Yeah, I was writing articles for them part-time kind of for free for like 3-4 months.
Yeah.
You know, just because like I love doing it
Yeah,
and
passion.
Yeah.
work for free because you never like that's how you get your foot in the door.
Right.
100
Uh-huh.
you're preaching right now, dude. Like Vince said, so many people would probably kill to be in a job like yours, but out of all those people, 99% of them wouldn't write articles for free for 4
Yeah.
months.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that is the difference, bro. You put yourself out there, you put yourself in a vulnerable position, not getting paid, just putting your content out, seeing what it does, and you're in a great spot. That's awesome. That's really, really cool, man.
Thank you. Yeah, no. It's I'm blessed.
Definitely.
Seriously.
No, you're in a good spot, man. I wanna talk about some really big industry news. I'm not sure if you
Wait, I want to say something.
Say
All
something.
you.
That like whole like go out there and do it type thing.
Yeah.
There's this famous he gives like speeches. He was like a disc jockey. He always wanted to be a disc jockey.
Yeah.
So he went to this local radio station. He showed up. You know, this was back when you would like show up and ask for a job type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Showed up. He's like, I'm Les Brown. I want to be a disc jockey. Do you have any jobs? He's like, no, I don't have any jobs. Like, we're fully hired.
Right.
So he goes to his mentor. He says, they don't have any jobs. What do I do? He's like, most people have to say no 10 times before they say yes. Go back. He goes the next day. Guy's like, what are you doing here? He's like, do you have any jobs? He's like, no, get out of here.
Yeah.
Goes back the third day. The guy's like, what in the heck are you doing? We don't have any jobs. He goes, but I want to work here. He's like, go get me some coffee. So we got a job like that. He started in
Yeah.
the coffee room.
Yeah.
Within like 3 years, he's a disc jockey.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So-
that's a great story.
Yeah, it was really cool to hear that.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
that reminded me of that.
Definitely persistence.
Yep.
And
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like
Life
if
is
you
about
really,
grabbing the bull by the horns. You
Yeah.
have to do it. You have to put your neck out there and make it happen, or it won't happen. Frankly, that's
Exactly.
man. I like even it's all mindset. Everything's mindset in life. Even as simple as just like base numbers of economics, man. No one has ever been thinking about the $20 they wasted last week or lost last week and then just stumbled upon $1 million. Like that doesn't happen. The people that stumble upon $1 million are thinking and aiming for 3, 5, 10 million. You know what I mean? They shoot for the stars, land on the moon type of thing, right?
Definitely.
And that's amazing. No, that really is a good testament to literally putting your neck out there, putting your work out there, and grabbing it by the horns. That's awesome, man. Seriously. Have you guys talked, have you personally written any articles or gone into any depth about Fanatics and their basically their overtaking of the sports card hobby and industry as a whole? Have you discussed that at all? Like your personal journalism?
I have not in
Okay.
my personal journalism, but I'm pretty familiar with just, you know, the whole topic itself.
Yeah.
And kind of like what's going on in the space.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you want to kind of maybe go into it and then we can discuss
Yeah,
your thoughts and
I want to spitball a little bit on it because we actually haven't talked about this on the podcast yet. It happened a couple months ago, kind of when we were like intermediary between a couple podcasts. Our last guest we had out, shout out Shav, not a big card guy, so it wouldn't have made sense for us to, you know, really dive into this in detail in the last episode. But yeah, there's some really interesting, amazing things happening with sports cards. The big headline is that Fanatics has secured the MLB, NFL, and NBA licenses for sports cards and production starting in 2026. I think that there's a little bit of variation. Like I know MLB and MLB Players Association, there's a discrepancy there. And there's some discrepancies along the way, but the long and short of it, Fanatics is going to be the ones printing and licensing all sports cards in the future. And there's some big implications. It's got some people really nervous, frankly. A lot of people in the sports card hobby and industry, Fanatics is looking to basically corner the market, and that's going to cut out a lot of jobs, quote unquote, like breaking, grading, stuff like that. And I'll dive into what I mean. Basically, Fanatics has outright said that they want to have the production, they want to have the distribution. We can anticipate direct to consumer, just like Nike. The LCS is, you know, I don't anticipate LCS to be gifted $100, $200 boxes of National Treasures anymore that they can go sell for $3K. I think it'll be more like $2,500 that they can sell for $3K. We expect to see Fanatics optimize the pricing on the market. They intend to do their own grading in-house. They intend to have their own secondary sales platforms in-house, and they literally want to completely corner the industry. And just with that knowledge alone, we can see how, you know, breakers, people that are really big into grading, LCS guys, all the middleman type positions in the industry, there's a lot of question marks about what the future is going to look like for them, right? Now, is there a conflict of interest? The people producing the cards also grading them? Maybe. It's
Maybe.
a little bit
Perhaps.
weird. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy. It is the most groundbreaking news that the sports card hobby could ever see. The entire thing has been
flipped upside down.
it's been flipped on its head. Yeah, and the future. So yeah, 2026 is when we expect to see the actual production and printing start. Between now and then, expect to see some big boy power plays by Fanatics. People speculate that they're going to buy Tops, possibly buy out Tops, maybe buy some labels from Panini, like buy the license for Prism, buy the license for Optic or Donruss. People are even murmuring about what if they buy Leaf and try to get Jordan and LeBron. What about Bronny, LeBron dual autos, on-card autos for
That would
Bronny's
be-
rookie
I
year
need
in the
one of
league?
those.
You know what I mean?
need a LeBron in and Bronny.
Yeah.
Auto.
Oh, it'd be insane. That would be a grail of that's an insane card. So yeah, there's a lot of speculation about the moves that they're gonna make, but I think it's gonna be really big like that. I think that they're trying to really corner the market and expedite everything. So that's my thoughts. I don't know. I'll kind of put it out there for you guys.
It's definitely. I mean, it's huge news.
Yeah.
It's billions of dollars that are being switched hands basically with those licenses.
Yep.
And so it's going to just completely change the sports card market and the whole industry as a whole. I think it's actually long term, I think it will definitely be beneficial.
Yeah.
I think, change is hard and people are going to be against it. But I think that's with anything, and especially with something major like this, Fanatics and the CEO Michael Rubin, I just know they have their shit together.
They're insane.
So I feel I have faith in them, and I have faith in what they're gonna do. But it's gonna be an interesting next couple years to see what happens with Topps and Panini.
Yeah.
But overall, I have a good feeling about it.
That's good.
My only feeling about it is I just feel like Topps is kind of just like the old school card guys, whereas Fanatics has more of like they kind of are for more of like the newer card collector people. Like, so I think it'll be a fine thing. I mean, like, I don't think it's gonna be like have a crazy negative impact on the market. I think there's a better chance it would have a positive impact on the market. I feel like they are more in line with like newer generation and what they want.
Culture.
So,
yeah.
And so
look at who's leading. Look at who's the face of their company. It's Josh Luber.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you have like, I mean, they know that the market growth is coming from the younger generation, and that's what they want in the future too. So
yeah,
that's why they would obviously be, really basically taking over the market.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Spending billions and billions. I mean, this is probably like a 20-year, 50-year plan for them to spend that type of dough. It's insane, man. And I agree with you, Vince, that they really you look at Josh Luber and the circle that he runs with. Those guys have their finger on the pulse of culture.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Resale culture, hustle culture, what's hot, what's flipping, what's going to be flipping. I don't know. My thoughts, I feel the card market certainly cooling off in some ways. There's not this insane buzz that there was obviously a year and a half ago. People that are passionate about cards are passionate about cards. But that being said, the next couple of years, I think that I really do believe that we're going to see Topps and Panini print like there's no tomorrow. And they're going to, before there's any buyout or before Topps sells to Fanatics or before Panini sells the Optic license or Donruss license, I think that they're going to print, and that's going to be the name of the game. The hobby experienced a massive over a decade-long downturn with the junk wax era. So the implications, I mean, shoot, dude, how many Zion rookies are there in a PSA? Like 10, like 15,000 or something insane.
Probably,
if they're printing more and more and more than that was 2019, 2020. So they're going to be printing more and more over the next few years. I think it could have some negative impacts for just the health of the hobby overall. I'm sure Fanatics is calculated. These guys know what they're doing. I'm sure they have a, fail-safe. I'm sure they have all types of plans in place for what they're going to do, how they're going to stir back hype. It's all about balancing scarcity with
supply and demand.
Literally, that's all that it's a matter of. So I'm pretty confident that those guys would be able to build back a resurgence of hype and buzz. But I think that we're going to see some really heavy printing. We're already seeing the margins of wax, like just sealed wax on the aftermarket. It's really squeezed down. You're not going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars generally on a release on sealed wax anymore. That's just not the case. I think that this Fanatics deal, obviously, it could have some positive impacts on vintage product, old products, pre-Fanatics deal, right? Mm-hmm. It's far more likely that they're gonna leverage and buy out Topps and these licenses. I don't see any way that Fanatics is gonna produce Fanatics first basketball cards.
I think
there's no way.
Fanatics buying Topps is it really interests me.
That's a move.
I think they could do something really cool with that.
Oh heck yeah, they'd have NBA Topps Chrome, NBA NFL Topps Chrome. I mean, they could have. I mean, just imagine the possibilities, man.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
It's
and Topps
insane.
is like a classic brand.
Oh, yeah.
Like their IP is crazy.
MetaZoo.
Yeah, I wonder. I was gonna bring up.
MetaZoo Chrome.
I was gonna bring up MetaZoo a little bit when we were talking about just like random TCG.
Yeah.
Have you dabbled at all?
No.
Do you like MetaZoo? No.
No,
It's
I like
cool.
Pokemon.
Comic, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go.
shout out MetaZoo. I mean, they're trying to.
They're
making
they're
plays,
at least
man.
branding and marketing properly.
Yeah.
Vince, what's your famous quote about GFNF and MetaZoo?
We are MetaZoo.
We are MetaZoo.
You guys
So.
cooking MetaZoo?
Oh,
Yeah.
we've been destroying MetaZoo,
They've been
dude. Since
doing well, yeah.
literally
I mean-
since the beginning. Shout out Tim and a few of our other employees. These guys are absolute beasts, dude. They've been on MetaZoo since very very early, and we're
that kind of shows to the brand that MetaZoo is like building. I mean, it's hype, but if your guys are gonna be able to buy their products and flip them for 2-3x, like that says something.
Yeah, for sure.
know?
I
Yeah.
agree, 100%.
But no, I'm definitely TCG wise Pokemon.
Yeah, that's your
Forever.
favorite, dude. That's
Pokemon.
my favorite too. That was my childhood,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, me too.
Can't
Like,
be
I grew-
long on MetaZoo right now.
Nah,
Right.
No.
Take the MetaZoo profit and buy Pokemon if you like TCG.
That's a good
If you're
That's
trying
a
to go
great
blue
plan.
chip,
Yeah,
yeah,
if you're
buy your
trying to
Charizard.
buy some Charizards.
Yeah, the thing is, this is we go back and forth about getting excited about MetaZoo and then getting nervous about the long term of MetaZoo, because the problem that I cannot get myself past is I don't see anyone playing the game, bro. And the whole thing about TCG, the G is really important. The
Yes.
game part is
Yes.
so
I'll
epically
actually
important.
be honest, now that we're talking about it, I
Yeah.
think Magic would be the best because so many people play the game.
Magic.
Yes.
That's a culture right there.
And like, yeah, and if you were talking about like investing, if you had to ask me, I'd be like, buy Magic.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Like, yeah.
I
But-
totally agree. Magic, there's a lot of
Yeah.
legs. And like you were saying,
Uh-huh.
people play Magic competitive, like professionally, competitively. Like it's serious.
Yep.
I just know zero about it.
Me neither.
Like
yeah.
in terms of the game, I just know that there's a lot of action.
They play it up in the office.
Oh, do they really?
My brother and them, yeah.
Yeah, he's big
That's
into it. It's
that's
cool.
Sweet. That's
Every
super
Friday.
cool. Black Lotus, right?
Black
That's
Lotus,
one of
the
yeah,
Grail.
The card you want, yeah.
Yep. That's awesome. Dude, you mentioned that 137 you guys are covering like NFTs recently. I'm sure with, it being a Gary V company. The NFT takeover, it has overtaken our whole space, the entire entrepreneurial space, whatever you want to call it, card Twitter, sneaker Twitter. Anyone that's a hustler is privy to NFTs right now. And if you're not, I don't know what you're doing. Has it been a big part of your life and focus and just your content over the last few months? Yeah.
Yeah, NFTs are, like you said, they're taking over. It's on everyone's radar right now.
Yeah.
And you were saying a little bit ago, the card market has kind of, I wouldn't say dipped, but it's definitely like
Just cooled off a little. Yeah.
And I think a lot of that money went into NFTs.
Makes sense.
You know how sports cards were super hot in 2020,
Yep.
and now NFTs are super hot. I see like the shift. I see the demand.
I agree.
see people pouring into NFTs every day.
I see guys that were big into, big sports card guys. They're buying sick NFTs, and that is.
I think it has to do a lot with why you see these markets changing like that and money flowing from one to the next. I think there's people that are just super unsure with where to put their money. And, I'm assuming that these people have your traditional stocks and maybe real estate, but they're looking to other things just because of uncertainty in a lot of different markets right now. So whether it's crypto, cards, video games, NFTs, they're looking for creative ways, I think, to diversify their investments. So I think that's why you would see them not move maybe all their money out of cardboard, but move some of it, or not put more money into cardboard, but put that money into NFTs. So if you're talking about guys with millions and millions of dollars a year in disposable income to put in investments, no longer putting that 5 to 10% of that in their riskiest investment of cardboard, putting it into NFTs or crypto or whatever, those markets, then you could see huge uptrends. So that's what I kind of think is happening. I was talking to my brother about that, and he thinks that has a lot to do with why you see these markets that like are super risky continue to have huge players come into them because they just don't like stock market and traditional market gold and all that. Like they either maybe have what they think is enough of that, or they're just unsure enough to where they would be willing to put maybe even more of like a 5%, maybe even 15 to 20% into these, new markets like NFTs. So
Right.
I think that could be playing a big role too.
I totally agree.
Definitely.
100%.
Is it a big part of your like the culture at 137, just like NFT mindset, and like is Gary always like just blasting out emails of projects for you guys to keep on your radar? No, not so
definitely
much.
not, no.
Okay.
Our main like culture is make positivity louder.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
Okay.
But no, NFTs we have a couple of NFT, writers who are like solely on that.
That's
but we
cool.
cover a lot of different stuff as
Yeah.
well, and the only project, well, V Friends of course is like,
Yeah.
shout out
Iconic.
V-Friends.
Iconic. Yeah.
So, but other than that, no, we NFTs is a huge space.
Yep.
We cover a lot of it, but not everyone. That's the
Yeah.
same thing. Like not everyone loves sports cards.
Right.
Not everyone loves NFTs.
That makes sense for sure. No, I get that, man. Do you have any projects that like you are particularly hot on or eyeing or caring about right now?
I have one project that I'm like very long on.
Okay.
It's Rap Strikers.
Rap
go, dude.
Strikers.
Rap Strikers.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
the first sports card NFT project released
Ever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, ever on the Ethereum blockchain. It was released day one of the 2018 World Cup.
Okay.
And it features like some of the Ronaldo rookie cards. Well, Ronaldo first ever NFT cards.
Yeah.
Messi, Neymar. There's a Paul Pogba. There's a bunch of guys like classic strikers, like classic football players. And I just think that's two worlds emerging into one.
Right.
You have all the people who love sports cards and then the new technology with NFTs in one project. And for it being the first, I think that's super significant long term.
Yeah.
And it's soccer. It's proper football.
Yep.
Everyone like shout out proper football. Like it's
Definitely.
It's very
I've never heard that at all.
well, you've never heard proper football before?
I don't think I have either.
Really? Oh man.
That's hilarious though.
Yeah.
No, that's the first sports project or the first sports NFT project is pretty crazy. When we actually saw these in like Gary's wallet a few months ago, Gary V's wallet. My hesitation, I will say Vince's has like, what was your big hesitation about the
See,
floor?
he likes to say what I say because it makes so much sense.
Yeah, no, it was
You'll
well,
notice.
it was
Okay,
well
so
put.
Check this out. The reason I don't like a project like that or some projects is because you've got to get the floor to rise. And I was looking at it from somebody like I don't care much for soccer, but like the floor, the players on the floor are just like a guy I could see on the street. And there's a lot of them that would have to be purchased to raise the floor. But I mean, if you get enough guys who love soccer to come into NFTs, but it's like there's so few people right now in NFTs. It's like 30,000 a day, like we've said, are actively making a trade on OpenSea a day. 30,000.
That's
I
so
just
small.
don't think there's enough soccer people to buy those ones off the floor.
Right.
And that goes
And maybe
for
not
any,
yet.
Maybe
not
but
yet.
You could be, dude.
But when there's 3 million
these-
people with MetaMask wallets,
it could be. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Because when everyone wants an avatar, maybe they'll want these soccer avatars for their Twitter.
Right.
But when I approach a project, I like to look at, are
The
people
floor?
going to actually buy these floor art things?
that's like
Yeah.
one of the main things you look at is the floor price and
Yeah.
those. That's very interesting.
I look
strat-
at the floor because I don't care about the best ones because the majority of people can't buy the 10 Ethereum ones.
Yeah.
Right.
And you need the people, the retail or like the middle road guys that can buy the $400, $500, $600 ones.
Yeah.
To actually like the ones that are on the floor because there's 95% of the collection is these floor ones.
What
Right.
I would
Yeah,
see.
So that's why, yeah.
A project like Wrapped Strikers, in my mind, the way that it would like explode or the floor ones would really appreciate, it would have to get some insane traction and publicity for like some big Messi sales or Ronaldo's. You know what I mean? Like if they're
What happens when Messi flexes his iconic? There's only 13
Yeah.
of them. Then what happens?
Well, yeah, and that's-
or Ronaldo is like here's my first NFT card,
But do they
and
care?
I own it.
But do they care about
uh,
the
The
guy
other,
on
all the no names that are
floor? Yeah.
retired. Well, that's the thing. There's that
Like,
there's
I
that
don't
saying
know.
like
Good
a rising.
players.
Huh?
You got to pick the good players, I think.
But that's what I'm saying. Who's gonna pick these awful ones on the
Maybe
floor?
maybe like, I mean, the Messi floor I think is around 8.5 ETH.
Without manipulation. Because somebody could literally come
Well,
in
yeah,
and buy up
yeah, of course.
300 off the floor.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I mean, I just don't know who's gonna buy them.
I think it's literally just it would be people that are like, this is the first sports NFT
Yeah.
project. I will buy the first
I will
sports
buy it. I
NFT
don't care
project.
who it is. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be people like, oh, this guy retired in 2019,
Right.
dude.
Yeah.
He's a decent center or whatever.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
There's some big name players though. I mean, I think like I was saying, I think the floor on Messi is like 8 ETH,
Yeah.
right.
which
I
is
mean,
like
that's-
pretty
Dude,
serious.
I hope it blows up because I mean you have it,
Yeah.
and I mean that'd be
I'm-
sweet.
I'm
We looked
stacking
in
them.
Gary's wallet last night. He's got like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these things. It's
He does.
funny.
Gary's
Yeah.
stacking rap strikers.
He's got a lot.
I
of,
do like his
respect.
creature though. The creatures.
Oh, his
Yeah?
creatures are
I love
dope.
that. That's
Yep.
one of my favorite projects.
Yeah.
So looking back in like 6 months, creature will be like 0, and yours will be like 5.
Well,
5
time
We'll
will
clip
tell.
this in
Yeah.
6
Time will
months.
tell.
Nobody wants the creatures on the floor. They want
Rap. Everyone just
they
wants
want-
rap strikers
they want-
profile
They want
pictures.
James
James Smith,
Rodriguez.
who played one World Cup game.
That's
Right.
funny. That's
Paul
hilarious.
Pogba rookie card.
Yeah.
One of the I don't even want to say one of the, I would say the new meta in the NFT space is passive income projects. Is where everyone's talking about, everyone, not a lot of people are super well researched into what this all entails, but this is the where all the buzz is, all the projects that are breaking 10 Ethereum floor super quickly right now, or just hitting new heights. They're really all passive income. Like, they have tokens associated with the project, and the tokens are allotted to holders based off X, Y, and Z. Every project's a little bit different. Vince, I don't know if you want to say any thoughts on these tokenomic type
It's just
projects.
so dumb.
Cyberkongs
Yeah.
was the first. They were the OGs to get a Genesis Kong. It's like 180 ETH floor, dude. Like, because they're producing.
I'd rather buy a punk.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
The punks are, in my opinion, gonna be over 1 million. These things could die tomorrow.
OpenSea could yoink them.
The problem
Imagine-
with that is like the whole securities thing, like those tokens being securities. That's just
Explain
not,
what it is. Explain
a
what.
security is. Like when do you know Ripple, the cryptocurrency?
Yes.
So they got in huge trouble because the SEC is saying that they're a security, like meaning a
Right.
stock, and that's just like you can't just be selling these products. And so if OpenSea is selling a product that could, I mean, even have any chance of being a security, I think they'll pull that so quickly.
They don't want to
Right.
be liable.
So it's
for
actually
that.
surprising to me they haven't pulled some of these projects like Cyberkongs and stuff.
That's-
Because if they actually think that they are securities like at all, then I think that they would pull them like very quickly.
Because the risk is super high.
And
for
I-
Right.
because they're a U.S. company out of New York,
OpenSea, yeah, they can't be-
That
they gotta
is-
follow
You don't want to
SEC.
screw around with anything government related at all.
For sure.
Right.
So I mean,
What do you think would happen if let's say Cyberkongs got pulled from OpenSea?
It'd
Would
be-
it just
it would be
would
all
it
of
would
them.
be
It would be them
catastrophic.
and anonymized.
Yeah.
I think bear market.
and
Instantly,
it'd be
bear market.
because like the meta kind of went from like, hey, you own this horse, you're gonna get a pony because
Right.
like you hold the horse.
Right.
But then it became, oh, well, everyone's doing that. Like you get the second generation. Let's do a derivative or a staking.
like a
and stuff
dividend,
where you
right?
get dividend,
Yeah.
yes,
Right.
for holding, and that's what's hot right now. And it's just like, man, if you're looking at these roadmaps and you think like this is an investment because of these roadmaps, that's just not how I approach flipping these things.
It's
like,
a game
at
of
all.
musical chairs right
be
now.
very
Like,
cautious?
Yep.
It's like if you don't, I mean, it's crazy, but like the only reason I have these creatures is because I think they're doing really new creative stuff. Like that, Danny Cole is not saying I'm giving all the creature owners some token.
Creature
Right.
tokens. Yeah.
Right.
Like he's doing a playground. Like, I mean, you don't have guys like Gary Vee and Shaquille O'Neal supporting him in a project without them like vetting the guy, liking the guy.
Right.
So that's why I love creatures, and I think, the price. Like, I don't care like the price is down or up on a given day, because I think longer term, if NFTs play out,
Yeah.
and
They
do,
will.
and they do boom,
They will.
then you might want to have a creature,
Right.
because they do, and I think as we've seen, Gary Vee's very good at predicting things. So why does he have 50 creatures, and why does he hang out with Danny Cole? Well, I think because he sees talent and a vision.
A lot of potential.
Yeah. So yeah, I would not be sitting on like, if I had a CyberKong, I almost bought a CyberKong. I would have sold that shit and bought in creatures, especially after all this talk about what's going on right now.
Right.
Yep.
Same
That's
with
like,
Cool Cats. Almost bought one of those. Would have sold it. Would have gotten out.
Yep.
Because like this.
That's
stuff,
why the Cool Cats exploded was a token.
you don't want to.
That's
yeah,
what they
you
were
don't want to
doing.
mess
Yeah.
with these.
Well, that's what they're promising.
If
Or
it
I
were-
don't know
Oh,
if it
really?
started yet.
If
but
you
yeah.
wanted my advice, I would not be.
yeah,
long on
definitely be
those-
cautious
those
when it comes to
projects.
those.
Or any project. Like all these Solana projects are doing that now too.
Oh,
Isn't
yeah,
GFNF cooking Solana projects right now?
yeah, we've been dominating those. We really
I'm
have
really
for a
happy
while.
for like
Yeah.
most of our members on that stuff.
I know
'cause
it's been insane.
They've been really crushing it.
But even the Solana, like you said, even these Solana drops are starting to have these empty promises of 50% of all aftermarket trading goes back to holders.
And it's like people
It's a
care like the
joke.
percentage. It's like, oh, I'm only getting get 20% royalties from
Right.
this one versus 60% from them. Like
Yeah.
it's just not a way to look at this. And I hope we've never given off. I don't think we ever talk about the roadmaps.
No.
Like when we
Fuck
say
no.
like go for these Danuki things today. There was like this drop for these. I don't know what they are now. Cats? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
They did do really well, and they have done well. But it wasn't like go for these because you get a 20% royalty.
Right.
It's like go for these. We think they're gonna flip right like
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah.
And the name you mentioned, just like what we've been able to do with Solana, we got serious about Solana. I don't want to say early, but relatively speaking,
Right.
and definitely before like the whole industry piled in over the last week or two. That's for sure. So yeah, we've been doing Solana pretty heavily for a month or two, and man, we've been kicking ass. But the main point is that we don't really consider any of these Solana projects blue chip. So we'll like scalp the Solana projects all day, flip them, make money of them, like buying the floor, selling higher, whatever it is,
Right.
and then just put that money into ETH or ETH projects that we would consider, have it with a high upside, like something like creatures or a mutant or something like that.
V-Friends.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I told you,
V-Friends.
I moved a lot of my.
Someone
I don't want
needs
to talk
to-
about V-Friends. I moved a lot of my Solana to Bitcoin like after
Yeah.
I made good profits.
Yeah,
that's
that's
like how
smart.
much I don't care about Solana and this other stuff.
Agreed.
Y'all should. Someone in GFNF needs to flip Solana projects to a V-Friend.
Into a V-Friend
That's,
directly.
That's like a goal.
would be
Vince
sick.
needs
That
to
would
buy
be-
his way back into
Yeah,
a
you
V-Friend.
do, Vince.
What did you have? Bobcat?
Bobcat,
That was sick. Bro, Gary's the boss for just hand drawing a bunch of stuff.
Dude,
Like
I can't
that's so
wait.
crazy.
I bought over 2,000 of his books.
Oh really?
With the
I bought
NFTs.
60 of them.
Yeah,
you
I bought
two?
2,400.
Vince is a psycho, dude.
Dude,
literally.
that's so awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I'm
Do
stoked.
you know what's
about-
likely going to come of those books?
It's gonna be.
New backdrop.
Oh,
Think
you're
we're
gonna do it
stack
with
'em up, dude.
24.
Wouldn't that be sick?
That would be super dope.
That's hilarious.
So
all
how
of his
many
books.
how many NFTs is that? 12.
A lot.
A lot.
A
I'm.
lot.
I'm. What do you think it's gonna be? Do you have any guesses?
I honestly thought he was going to get an artist. Hey, maybe Danny Cole.
That would be
I don't know.
insane.
I honestly thought he was going to get somebody to actually do avatars or art or something. I
Right.
think something like that.
Right.
Instead of him like doing hand drawings again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be.
I hope this is right so
100
I can go back and clip this.
clip.
Oh,
it.
dude.
Definitely.
Because like
definitely.
if I were, I always think like if I were this person, what would I do?
Right.
For one, like I'm sure he spends a lot of time on that stuff. But I don't think he wants to like do any drawings or things outside of what he's doing for V-Friends. He
Right.
doesn't want it to be the same. So hey, I will get an artist that I like to do whatever I'm giving out for my books.
That's a
That would
good.
be insane.
That's a
So-
good idea.
I know. I
It'll be interesting
Yeah.
to see what comes of it.
Dude,
but
Vince
I know
literally
I,
might get rich from these. That's the crazy thing about
Yeah,
it.
you went
If it's like a
hard.
good NFT,
You
you,
went
you might
hard on
literally
those,
get
bro.
rich, bro. But I don't know. I wonder how many.
yeah, you guys might not see me on this podcast.
I know, depending on what
He
type
said
of
You guys
NFT.
can have
December.
the books as the backdrop,
Right.
but
Yeah, no
That's
more
even
keeping
Vince
the
though.
NFTs.
I thought 60 was.
We'll bring
but
Ace Love.
I love
Ace
that.
Ace Love. Me and him will have to host it, and then you'll be in wherever you go, Ibiza or something.
That's so funny.
Colorado.
That's a good play, man.
Yeah.
That's a dope play.
For sure. I just feel. Oh, and that's also why like Anonymized and these projects aren't verified on OpenSea yet. They don't have the check
well,
markets.
the other ones are.
Only Kongs.
CyberKongs and Cool Cats are verified.
Okay,
Cool Cats
CyberKongs is verified. Cool Cats is verified. They've been around way before
The
there was
token.
any talk
Yeah.
of tokens.
Anonymized, no.
Anonymized and these other projects that are new and are just like announcing tokens.
Well,
and
they
this,
pulled that turtle one. They pulled
yes,
the turtle
they
one.
did
Did they
pull. Yeah,
really?
they pulled one
they pulled
because
this turtle one. Yeah.
because I read about that.
they
There's
like
a really
directly said something about it being like
they directly
not
equated
legal?
their tokens to currency.
Yeah.
So whereas when you look at the verbiage, I read a really good thread about this
right
last
the way
night.
they hide behind. Yeah.
Yes, when you look at the
Which-
verbiage of
yeah.
Kongs, they literally explicitly say one banana equals one banana. There is no intended monetary value behind these. They are just like silly banana. Like
They're bananas.
But
They're
obviously,
digital bananas.
and the reason why I say it's a game of musical chairs is because the only fucking reason, pardon my language, the only reason the bananas have any value is because they had the Baby Kongs project
Right.
at a point where you needed to accumulate X amount of bananas, then you could breed a baby Kong. Like, there's not going to be an infinite amount of
Listen to
use.
us grown men talking about you could get a banana and breed a banana Kong or a
Baby Kong.
Kong.
There's not going to be an unlimited amount of hype for the uses of these silly
Yeah.
tokens. And right, another thing that's propping up the banana price right now is they're going to have like a Kong.
The banana.
The banana price, they're going to have like
What's
a Kong.
one banana cost right now?
Like $117, $120.
way.
Yeah. So these Kongs, bro.
400 gumballs.
Yeah,
Dude,
for-
the Genesis Kongs
Yeah.
are producing 10 bananas a day, which is 1,200 USD a day, over 400K a year in bananas.
Man,
they're gonna have like a banana store where you can like buy like backdrops and
this
sunglasses
is
for your
so.
Kong.
This is crazy.
But that's the only reason why there's any value in the bananas. Like eventually, all these tokens are gonna be completely worthless. So
Yeah.
it's a game of musical chairs. What I believe we're seeing is we're watching the entire NFT space right now scramble to find utility.
Yes.
Everyone just wants to find a functional new utility and purpose for their NFT that will legitimize people to hold it and ape into it like crazy. That's really all what we're seeing. It's constant adaptations to old utilities or roadmaps. It's a lot of copycat stuff right now. You got to
There's
be
a lot
very
of profile
careful.
pictures.
Yeah, and we're kind of getting away from that. Like as far as just like a vain, just completely the only purpose is vanity.
Yeah.
Profile, expensive profile pic. We're kind of getting it away from that. You know, people are
The
like, hey,
market's getting smarter.
yeah, I'd say so. Buyers are getting smarter, and they're
Right.
realizing they're seeing the saturation. Man, we saw there was a Ethereum drop. Like Ethereum mints, it was hyper saturated about a month ago. Right now, and the day of recording, that is where we're at with Solana. So like you had mentioned, oh man, I heard you guys at GFNF are cooking Solana drops.
Yeah.
That's 100% true. It was way sicker like 3-4 weeks ago when everything was selling for 6x,
Right,
10x after
right.
mint. Now we have to be far more calculated and really just wise about what projects we enter because it's super saturated. Everyone and their mother's minting on Solana right now, so it's crazy. The space is moving fast, and you got
It's
to
moving
protect your
so
money
fast.
because it's not. There's not.
It could go to zero.
That's it. There's no guaranteed
Yeah.
liquidity with any of this, and that is something that's so desperately important that people.
Our pinned post for NFT channel is
Yeah.
like I put out like this is 5 out of 5 risk, maybe even 10 out of 5. Like this is crazy. Don't put money into NFTs. You don't want to just like lose.
Yep.
Because
it's so
it can
insane.
go to zero. Like
Like we kept
Fast.
posting
Tomorrow.
like every single drop. We're like 5 out of 5 risk, 5 out of 5
Yeah.
risk. It's like if you don't realize that, man, like yeah. But
Yeah.
still, you got to outline that because there are people that will just like
Yeah.
get into it and not realize they could literally lose
They-
$1,000.
Yeah,
which
they-
some people like that's a lot of money.
oh
$1,000
yeah,
bucks.
$1,000 bucks
Exactly.
is rent for someone. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, there's people that will come into this space and they'll think that maybe it'll have similar liquidity to like crypto, whereas if crypto is just plummeting and your portfolio is just dive bombing, you can get out at any time, like up or down. There is a buyer at the market price. There's always max liquidity with any like actual solid coin, right? These projects, when they're on the downturn, there is zero guarantee you're going to be able to find a buyer. Like if your project's
no
worth
one
10K
could-
today
yeah.
and it's going down, you might not be able to find a buyer at any point until it hits zero. So
Right.
that lack of liquidity is very serious and should. I always try to remember that, man, with these projects. Cost averaging your entry and exits is super important.
Yep.
one thing Vince taught me this early was just like, buying two. If you
Yeah,
can
talk
swing
about
it.
that. Talk about that strategy
how
because
you
that
like to
was a
buy
good
two?
strategy.
Yeah, because if I like the project enough, I've already I like the art. I like what the metrics look like,
Right.
holders versus whatever. I
Yeah.
like the velocity of sales. Like, so if I'm going to get into the project, I think, okay, I'm going to buy two because once I 2X, I will sell one and then hold the other one. So it's all profit. And I've just always liked doing that. It's done well for me. It obviously works really well in a bull market because most things are going to go up. It's been difficult the past 2 to 3 weeks. We're basically like, you had to be very careful with what you were buying.
Yeah.
And I definitely like decreased the amount of things I was telling people I was buying because I just wasn't buying nearly what I was buying before, where we did really well. But yeah, I like buying two because then
That's like a way to.
and
almost-
also it protects you from it. You have a plan going in, so like let's just say you bought two or three or whatever anyways, and you don't have a plan of like, I'm gonna just get out with profit. Like, you could watch one go up a bunch, never sell, thinking like, wow, I've got these two or three and they're worth like 4x, and then like literally overnight it can tank to below where you bought them.
Right.
Yep.
So at least if you have two, you have a plan, you set yourself up for profiting. Whereas like if you just bought one, you just keep holding and holding, like, I don't want to sell my gold
Exactly.
and gem. Well,
Yeah.
like, you don't get emotional. You have to sell one for the profit. The other one's just house money.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's great
So
advice.
it protects you against that psychological barrier of like,
Do I
I don't
or
want to
not?
sell my gold and egg.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
That's definitely a great,
you
tip.
trick your mind
Yeah.
into
It's so
the
psychological,
psychological
man.
aspect.
All of this stuff is so psychological. It's a mental
and
game.
also you sell on the way up most of the time,
Yep.
Right.
which
right.
most people don't.
Yep.
'Cause they
Because it's
don't.
greed.
It's
Greed.
hard to
the
time
only
the
reason,
market.
yeah, the reason why you wouldn't sell on the way up is greed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
Yeah.
this is gonna go higher.
Take your profits, man.
And the
Take them
interesting
and
thing
move
is,
on.
I
Like,
broke from that philosophy on this one project, these T-Rexes.
Yeah.
Because I had 4 of them.
Yeah.
And I broke from it. And literally, I'm standing here a few days ago, and they had gone like 5x from one of the entries. Well, 2 of the entries and 2 where I called them were like maybe 3x.
Yeah.
And I broke from the philosophy just thinking like, I don't even care because I think these are going to go so high. And I left to go golf thinking like, I don't care, I didn't list
Right.
it. I come back, they're like, they're at still like well above what I paid, but it's just like you missed the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you just
Yeah.
stick to what
You would have
what works
maximized.
for you,
Yeah.
stick to the plan.
And then
So-
execute on it.
Yeah. And so exactly, like, I will not ever again not follow my plan. So
I like that.
Yeah,
No, having a
that's great
plan and not
advice.
just aping into shit and just trading purely based off emotion, because frankly, that's what we see. The people that are losing money, they'll mint or buy something on
buy
emotion.
everything.
They buy everything or
They
anything.
follow the shiny bobber.
Yep.
It happened
Yeah.
with botting. You followed the Supreme bot that hit this week. You bought it this week. It didn't work next week. Oh wait, but this bot hit. I gotta buy that one.
Right.
And I never
And then
did that,
Footside's
but that is
chasing.
just so common, like, practice to just
FOMO.
follow that shiny object out there, get it, and then the next shiny bobber that you're following, you just keep bouncing around.
Yeah, it's definitely FOMO.
Yeah.
And that's bad.
Oh, it is.
That's super bad.
It's crazy, man.
You don't chase things, definitely just have a plan, stick to it, execute on it.
I
But-
guess I just never anticipated the emotion in this game being like this serious. Like the emotional ups and downs in the NFT space have been fucking hard. They've been like they really like it. You gotta like, I don't know, some of the losses and even just the emotion selling on the way up, not
Yeah.
being greedy. It's a crazy game. It takes a lot of self-discipline.
It does.
I don't know. I've enjoyed it.
I've
so
enjoyed
much.
it so much.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone.
Definitely.
It definitely takes a certain type of person to be able to have those up and downs and still like stick to it.
Most people won't win long term. It's like anything.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
the stock market traders that do well, it's such a low percentage.
Right.
Yeah, that's
And
why
most
you
of
need
those guys will tell you all day long they don't win as many as they lose, but their winners are well bigger than their losers.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
they like really believed in it, so they dumped a bunch in,
Yeah.
and when it took off heavy. But their losers, they may not have put as much in, and maybe they lose 50 to 65% of the time.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter because 20% of the time they're going 20x on
Yeah.
the majority of what they're
Yeah.
investing.
Right. And I think that
Conviction in the ones you like.
Yeah.
So
And that same story bears true in the NFT space. You can see this just by looking at people's wallets because it's all in public ledger, right? You
know.
can literally look. You see your favorite NFT influencer that's made the most money and the most profit. He has 6,000 bunk ass worthless
I know.
NFTs in
I
his
know.
wallet. You know what I mean? All those
Yes.
misses and maybe a couple apes or mutants
Right.
or creatures
made
that
$1
they
million off
Yeah,
apes.
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they've
And then there are other hits, like maybe they bought creatures at 0.5, they bought 20 of them.
Yeah.
And now they sold them between 1 and 3 Ethereum, 1 and 4.
Yep.
They
So
hit
it-
again. And so that gives them a bunch of capital to buy 20 crap projects.
Fatalities.
And then one of
Yeah.
those could not even close. I don't know who's buying those ugly things. But if
Vince has
you-
hated those since the
They're so
beginning.
bad.
What are they
There
called?
is-
What are they
they're-
called?
They are the worst art I've seen.
Fatalities. It's like a
And-
knockout
and
rip
G-
of World of Women.
I don't know if you know G-Vols or whatever. Those
Oh, I hate those too.
They're so they're awful.
Yeah.
They're just the worst looking thing I've ever seen. But anyways, it gives them the money to buy all these projects,
Right.
and then when one of them hits, it takes care of 15 of the losers.
Exactly.
So-
Exactly.
That definitely, and people don't talk about that. People
Yep.
only talk about their wins.
Yeah,
So,
no
you
one
know,
talks
like,
about their
it
losses.
definitely, you can't
I
hit
have to
everything.
talk about my losses.
Well-
I tell everybody what I'm doing.
That's
you
what I was
do.
gonna
That's
say.
why you're the
Outline
best.
it.
The accountability, like in GFNF, like especially with your, any of your calls, entries, or exits, like you will follow up and say, like, this is what ended up
that's
happening.
a
This is
problem with every single. We get like, not many people, and we've tried to make this practice with card flips.
Yep.
Go back and like outline what this flip has done.
Yep.
Because otherwise you're just throwing out all these, and it makes for like people just throwing out random calls all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then you have no accountability if like these don't hit,
I agree.
and so you should only be putting out like your best calls.
Yep. With conviction
With what you actually
and following
think.
up on them.
Do you, every call you post, do you ape into it?
What do you mean ape?
Well, like, do you buy every call you post?
Yeah, I tell them when I'm buying and the price.
It's part of being
So-
a leader. You got to lead
Well,
by
because
example.
I know, so,
You
yeah,
have to.
yeah. I was gonna say because I feel like a lot of groups will just tell you to buy something and not.
No,
buy.
I'll tell them exactly what I'm doing.
Same.
If I'm not buying, I will tell them I'm not buying. But it wouldn't be in my potential flips.
Yep,
It would be
exactly.
in a drops category, and I would say like, this is the information. I'm probably not doing it, but I want you guys to see that
At
it
least-
is happening.
Yeah.
So if you want to do it, do it.
We always
Like
try to
those
clearly
sharks,
spell out.
There were
yeah.
these sharks the other day. They were like 3 or 4 Solana to buy, and it was like a day or two of like just really bad drops.
Yeah.
Things were tanking. They look like, I think they look awful. Like, so, but I knew there was hype, and I said like, these have been hyped. I just don't like the art. I'm not going to go for them. Guys did go for them because they did their own research. They ended up doing like 4 or 5x, like
Right.
14, 15, 16 soul.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't feel bad about not going for that project because
You
if
didn't-
I had those same thoughts on another project, like the art is trash, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to lose my money.
Yep.
Exactly.
So,
if you don't have conviction, then
I mean, you just have to stick to what works for you. That's all there is to it.
Agreed.
And so clearly the guys that went for him, they saw like the hype was real. They believed the hype would translate to the aftermarket, and it did.
And they were calculated. They took risks according to what they could handle.
Yeah,
I
their
mean,
risk
this-
matrix is like, hey, I can lose this 4 soul.
Yep.
yeah,
Or I can lose 2 of the 4.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think I'm gonna lose. At most, I think I'll lose 2 soul. And maybe they made 20 on a different project.
Right.
We did.
Right.
So they think I'll do that. Like,
Take the risk,
Maybe
yeah.
that was the best decision for them. And
Yeah.
It clearly worked out.
I think that just maximum transparency, just from a company and a group perspective with what we've got at GFNF, maximum transparency is the only thing that our members expect, and they frankly deserve it. Especially, I mean, this is serious business. This is people's money is no joke, and we try to, again, just be completely candid with, we are buying this, we are not buying this, this is the info for this project. I personally think they're ugly. I personally think they're too expensive maybe, or whatever, and really just laying out exactly what we're doing and why, and following up on it. It's one, and our members appreciate the hell out of it, man.
I'm sure
it's really,
they do. Yeah, no, that's definitely taking it the next level.
It would be so crazy to look back in just like 3 months on what's going on.
I know.
In this space.
I know.
It could be totally different.
It probably will be.
That's why I'm glad
Oh,
we're
yeah.
even
I mean,
having
yeah.
these conversations, because like right now, like we're gonna look
Yeah.
back at this whole like tokenomics phase of the NFT,
And what will it
and
be
we're gonna
then?
laugh. We're gonna be like, dude, remember
Something.
when they were all trying to do milk tokens and
Yeah.
shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be a silly thing. Yeah, the space. Like I said, I think people are just trying to find utility for projects
Yeah,
right now.
I agree.
And yeah, it's interesting. That's about it for me, man. I'm really glad you made it out, James.
Dude, thank you for having me. This was a pleasure.
Seriously.
It was a pleasure.
It's awesome having you, man.
It was a fun podcast, man. We wish you well with 137 on your future endeavors, and obviously you're more than welcome to come out here again. So
Of course.
definitely.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
guys,
you,
that's
guys.
a wrap. Thank you guys for checking out our channel. For more podcasts, car breaks, and all things resale, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.